You tell the pimpbot that you're my agent, not my pimp.
No problem, man. Hey, metalhead, why you gotta go messing with my bitch?
I'll admit that I haven't seen much Gundam, and I've only watched the first run of Evangelion, and that's not even counting the movies. But I'm as much a sucker for cool robots as the next guy, and Armored Core 6 has me on sort of a mecha kick lately. Specifically, it got me really wanting to play the Bangai-O Trilogy again, Treasure's mech action series, to the point that I had to hunt down a retro game store, shout out Arcade 80s in Winter Haven, Florida, and buy a new controller so that I could play Missile Fury on my 360, since that one's not backwards compatible, and neither are Xbox One controllers. I always liked Treasure, but I hadn't played anything from them that ranked in my top 5 until I discovered Bangai-O Spirits for the Nintendo DS. I'm sure we've all read that Tetris can help people to quit smoking, and it can curb the effect of traumatic memories if you play it right after, like, a car accident or getting your leg chopped off or something. I'd bet dollars to donuts the same applies to Bangai-O Spirits. Spirits is the second in the series, and it's focused largely on fast-paced problem solving. A lot of the levels in this game give you literally a fraction of a second to figure out a solution and employ it, pushing your understanding of the game's mechanics to the kinds of extremes in which speedrunners thrive. The longer levels kinda suffer as a result. After the game's trained you to waste a screen full of bosses in a single shot, trekking across an actual level feels kinda trivial as you dash into one room after another, blast your special bar, and repeat. The first one I'd played a few times before, but only played beginning to end a couple weeks ago. This one is oriented more around the longer levels. You need to plan your route through the map, conserve your special meter, and make sure you're in good enough shape to handle the boss at the end of your path. The level design is mostly open-ended. Like in one level you can clear out all these little enemy cells so they don't interfere with the boss fight, or you can smash the boss head on and try to take him out before the goons move in on you. Missile Fury on the Xbox 360 is the best of both worlds, with big adventure gamey levels and short puzzly ones. And this one has the most satisfying special bar attack. See, in all these games you have your normal attacks, which operate like any twin-stick shooter, and then you've got the special bar that fills up, mostly through picking up fruit after defeating enemies, and when it's full you can unleash a massive wave of bullets by charging and releasing one of the trigger buttons. But that's not all. You can amplify your special attack by waiting until the last second before an enemy bullet touches you. And the more bullets are nearly touching you, the more powerful your counterattack. In Missile Fury you can actually freeze enemy bullets within a certain range, and those will count towards your counterattack total. So you freeze 1, 2, 3 waves of enemy bullets, then build up your EX meter as the fourth is coming in, and kablamo.
There was a ghost!
The gameplay is exactly as addictive as gooning. Another thing I love about this series is the half-assed storytelling. The first one has something to do with fruit smugglers, but beyond that, the story is told through mangled Google Translate dialogue, and there's a general air of nonsense to it. In the second game, you get these anime stereotypes in the tutorial, and you don't see them again until the end credits. And in the third, all you get is this rough sketch of the professor who instructs you on the game's mechanics, because, as Armored Core 6 shows us, having no human characters appear on screen is kind of a more pointed, dramatic statement than having just as many as are necessary. I don't want to say the game holds the very idea of narrative fiction in contempt. If it weren't fully engaged in the fantasy of piloting a giant robot, they wouldn't bother with these little building objects you can place in the level editor. But there's an attitude here that if there's bad guys and you gotta kill them isn't enough story for you, then you're playing the wrong game. I would love to watch an anime like this. The game's director was Yaiman, who has chiefly served as a lead programmer at Treasure, really only stepping outside of that role to direct the Bangai-O trilogy. And he names Space Runaway Ideon, Lasner, and Macross as the chief aesthetic influences on the game. So imagine if you got action scenes modeled after Golden Age mech shows, and everything else is in a low-effort, shitposty style like Inferno Cop. Like how they did it in Ninja Slayers.
I need rest and there's no futon, so I'll just die. I'd commit seppuku if I had a sword.
On your feet, Ninja Slayer-san. Now!
Gendoso-san, you're just an ancient relic. The age of true ninjas is over.
Of course, I think Missile Fury only sold like 10,000 copies, so an anime tie-in feels like a long shot. Another cool robot game is Metal Wolf Chaos XD. It's hardly an undiscovered gem at this point, so what's there left for me to say? But I'll note that the memification of this game doesn't do it justice. It's far less a Sharknado or a Cocaine Bear than it is a Team America or a Starship Troopers. Its satire of the American character is pointed and specific.
Who did that to the White House? They shouldn't call it the White House. They should call it the Fight House.
As well as delightfully stupid. Like all the best stuff is. Go ahead and click subscribe for updates.